Well, good morning, or good afternoon, depending on when you're watching this video. We're beginning this video here at the bottom of the Bonnell building. Address here is 419 State Street. Very cool historic building. 419 State is the one door right here. It goes into a lobby, and you'll see that it's home to Kay's Nails, Hazards, and the Briggs Cigar Lounge. It's pretty cool. So up on the second floor, Hazards, third floor, Briggs Cigar Lounge. And then right next door, Serafini's, and above Serafini's, it's Erie Arts and Culture. It's pretty neat. I'm just showing off these buildings. These are very historic buildings, and that's kind of what today's video is gonna be a little bit about. Except, instead of looking at old historic buildings, today we're gonna go look at a brand new building that's being constructed. This is not a construction update per se, but there is a very cool building being built in between the Flagship City Food Hall and the Country Fair over along North Park Road and 5th Street. Now what I wanna do today is walk over to the food hall, walk over to that construction job site, and kind of show what we know now, and try to demonstrate what it's going to look like. And again, this isn't going to be like a full deep dive construction update. This is really just a way to kind of show where the construction is going to be, what the building is going to look like, what purpose it's going to serve, and kind of show you how it connects to the rest of the neighborhood. Should be a good downtown adventure today, so come along with me. We'll go have some fun. So we just walked down here, walked along State Street, and just kind of checking out these really cool buildings. We're here on the corner, the Exchange building. Check out that really cool kind of like a staircase fire escape there. Right next to it, of course, Flagship City Food Hall. Very cool looking building. It's got the, I love it, kind of has that like that bump up on top there. You can probably tell by the way I'm talking, I'm not exactly a trained architect, but I can look at a cool building, I can look at an old historic building, I can see the stories, you can kind of see changes that's been made throughout the years. You can see the stories that it's telling, the different storefronts that have been down below. Across the street, Richford Arms. My dad always tells me that was the Hotel Ford, and you can actually see the sign right there above the door there, Hotel Ford. I believe I bumped into an article about this kind of recently, and I believe I learned that there were multiple Hotel Fords around the area, at least a handful of them. It'd be kind of cool to do some more learning about that. But of course, the Bonnell building where we began, right on down the road there. I'm moving down here, but the reason I'm over here is I want to show you this very obvious gap here in the middle of the buildings. And we'll walk over and check out that gap, and we'll kind of talk about that. So right here, we're in Perry Square, where a lot of the summertime activities take place. Erie Downtown Partnership does a lot of that programming, and the park is very much a super important piece to this whole puzzle, right? The park is where people gather, where concerts and events take place. I mean, it's a park, right? It's a park in the middle of a city, in the heartbeat of Downtown Erie, here in this Flagship City District area. And right behind me is a huge project that is going to help connect a lot of these different pieces. So let's talk about it. The reason I wanted to be over here was because on the front here, kind of spanning the job site, you'll see a rendering of what it's all going to look like when it's all said and done, and looks pretty cool. But let's kind of talk about a few of the buildings here. So we began here in the corner, the Exchange building, got the Flagship City Food Hall. I love that little piece there, and that's important. I'm bringing that up for a reason. The old Marlena building, look at that. The old Marlena building is still standing and being worked on, and the Marlena building is a part of all this. You can see right here, this is a large, it's a covered walkway actually. So it's a walkway, and we're gonna go inside because there's a really cool little feature I want to show you. And then over here, got the dispatch building. Wow, look at that. You can see the, what do they call that? The ghost writing. How cool is that? Looks like it says, it's a, I can't quite read that top part. Paracon building? Pronunciation may not be totally right there. Right below it says clocks, watches, and jewelry. See if I can zoom in on this here. How cool. Clocks, watches, and jewelry. Yeah, what does that say? Does that say Paracon building? Someone tell me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm sure I am. There's got to be some really cool history on this. I'm going to look up. But right here, you can see the rendering, what we're looking at here. And this was placed here so that folks who are walking by, who are at Perry Square, will be able to walk right across the street and see what is being done here. And you'll see right here, the label says North Park Row. So this right here is what we're looking at. This is what this building is going to look like from North Park Row. I obviously can't stand in the middle of the road, so I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here so you can kind of take a peek. And I want to show you, this is what's really neat. So you look at this building right here. That is the Marlena building. So you can see what the Marlena building is gonna look like in a while. That's pretty neat. And then right here, this big, that's a glass arcade, like a glass entrance. I want to note that little bump right there might look kind of familiar, kind of cool. Calling back to this type of architecture in these historic buildings. This new building is going to have a little bump out, very inspired by the building just next door. And then right here, what you're seeing here, this building, brand new. And all of this, let me zoom back out here. All of this is going to be taking place right here in this huge gap. Isn't this crazy? I mean, look at the size of this thing. So what we're looking at, when you look at this rendering, and you look at the rendering area here below, this gap right here is going to be filled by exactly these two pieces right here. This glass atrium and this building. Very cool. And then that right there is that's the Marlena building existing right there, being restored. All right, so what we're doing now is we're going to walk into that little covered walkway, because I want to show you a really cool feature that was added to that construction area. It's a really neat little feature for families and for kids to check out. We added this little kind of like peek through window so you can look in and you can see the construction. It's pretty cool. So standing right here in front of Country Fair, we're going to walk through the construction area. And I totally misspoke. We're not walking through the construction area. That's for another video. We are actually going to walk through this area, which is a completely safe and covered walkway. So we're not going through the construction area today, but we will be going soon. So check this out. We added these little windows. How cool is this? We added one kid height here. We added one for the adults. The adults can peek on through, and you can see the work that's being done. So you can see here, oh, there's that sign there. This is clocks, watches, jewelry, and fancy goods. These people get fancy goods there. What kind of fancy goods could you get there? You can see just on through there, what you're looking at here beyond here is 5th Street back here. So we're gonna walk back there at the end of the video, and that is the Ascend climbing gym. And right over here is the building with the parking garage and Dave's Diner on the corner of 5th and Peach. You can see it looks like they got some foundation work here. There's the sidewalk. Wow, looks pretty cool. Let me just try to zoom in here. They just got the crane delivered yesterday, I think. So that right there would be the crane. Looks like it's being extended. I don't know when it'll be fully up. Well, it's a tall crane. We got some dirt movers. Quite a lot of work. So it looks like this is gonna be the foundation for that main building I was showing you that's being built. Looks like that's what we're looking at here. And then if you look carefully, you can kind of see this like wall right here. I'm gonna explain what that wall is about. I'll show you what that is and where that will all be and how it connects to this bigger project. So for now, what we'll do is a walkthrough. We'll see, we're on the back side of this rendering. Pretty cool. Here we have another window with a with a funny mustache. That's awesome. So I bet this will look kind of funny from the construction standpoint when they're looking through the windows and seeing guests with their little mustache drawn on. That's funny. So next, I think we're gonna go into the food hall because there's a really important piece to this puzzle. It's inside the food hall. I wanna show you what that's all about. So here we are at the entrance of the food hall on North Park Row. We're gonna pop on inside. I think this might be just before the lunch rush. So hopefully there's not a ton of people here, but we'll just kind of walk on through. And this map is important. I want to share with you this map because it'll kind of help us understand the construction that's happening next door. So right now we walked in off of North Park Road. We're standing right here. Joe's Brooklyn Bagel is right behind us. Right here is an interesting, mysterious gap here in the food hall. So let's go walk over there. You'll see that that is the Cheesery food kitchen. So we're gonna walk through and we're gonna talk about this very interesting and kind of awkward just blank wall, right? So right here is just a blank wall. But believe it or not, this is going to connect to that brand new building that is being built right next door. So this will actually all open up and you'll be able to see all the way through the building happening right next door. It's pretty cool that this will all be connected one day. So imagine if you're inside that building and you're looking this direction. From inside the building, you'll be able to see all the way through to the food hall. You'll see that big food hall sign right there, goes right there into the bar. But first you have to walk by this food kitchen. Right now we have Cheesery here. But yeah, this will all be connected right here. So this will be like a big cross section. Right now it's kind of more like an L, but in a couple years, this will be a big, kind of a big meeting point. Out the back of the food hall, this is the kind of the mysterious 5th Street entrance. And we'll see we found our way to the back side of that same construction we were just looking at. So we'll stay right here safely behind this wall. And now you can get a really good idea. You can see right there, let's zoom in. That is exactly right behind that wall is where we were just standing. Right there, you can kind of see the little cutouts for the construction windows. And here is the work. It looks like we're, I'm not sure, I don't know what I'm looking at. I always come to these job sites and I never really know what I'm looking at, but it looks like they're throwing like dirt or gravel, some kind of foundation material. Not entirely sure. But it looks like that's all related to the crane. And anytime you see a crane, it means that vertical construction is getting really, really close. Very neat. So walking along 5th Street here, I'm talking a little loud. That piece of machinery there on the back of the truck there is quite loud. So I'm walking kind of slow and I'm talking pretty loud here, but I want to stand right here because this is a really important part of the job. You'll see the back side of the Marlena building right here. You'll see that this whole thing is open back here. This whole thing is going to be filled with a building, and that glass arcade right here next to that Marlena building is going to open up a glass walkway all the way to 5th Street, connecting to the garage. So you can kind of understand and see, you can picture the building right here and how it connects to the park. And that's why Perry Square is so important in this whole thing. It's going to literally connect all of these pieces. It's going to connect the Flagship City Food Hall all the way across to the Country Fair through that walkway that I was explaining just a moment ago. And then it's going to connect Perry Square right here to this parking garage. Not literally connected, like there's not going to be like a tunnel or anything, or like a bridge going across the road. Just, you know, connected in the sense that when you come out of the garage, you'll be able to see, oh, you know, I go this way. It'll be much more obvious in a couple years. I don't think I even explained what the name of that job is. That is called the Flagship City Commons, construction by the Erie Downtown Development Corporation. It's going to be a mixed-use space with office space up top, commercial space down on the ground floor, and it's going to connect all those pieces. And I'm going to drop a link in the description below, a link to our website that will kind of explain the Flagship City Commons, and hopefully it'll kind of help be good, you know, information in addition to this video to kind of help you see how it all fits together. And right now we've already made it back to the corner of 5th and State, and you'll see right behind me is the Ascend Climbing Gym. Just on down the way, Franco's Cafe, and there are the shops at 5th and State, Serafini's. Look at this. Hold on. What is that? Look at that. I want to be up there. I want to be right there. There's cool stuff down here. Thanks so much for watching. Today was a good day. I Appreciate you joining me on this Downtown Erie adventure. We'll see you in the next one, as this truck is moving into the job site of Flagship City Commons.